Greetings, 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 greetings. Yeah, big up everyone out there. Do like and subscribe to the page, and let's go into it.
One, two, three, cheer!
Dan, what's up? How do you feel about the news that's hit recently with Puff?
Man, I can't even hold you pause. Uh, it really kind of affected me.
There's going to be like 100 pauses, right?
You know, like number one, that's all. In the algorithm, that's all you're gonna hear is every single day, all day long. This is all people are gonna talk about. But in hip hop, there's like a brotherhood, and a lot of us have known each other for like 30 years since we were like basically children. And he's one of those dudes, like, regardless to whether I agreed with who he was or what he did and how he did things, in hip hop, we were still brothers. Like, I still consider his sons my nephews. Regardless to what he do, his sons will always be good.
And we're talking about Diddy.
If hopefully everything's cool with that as well. Or children in general. And that's how I feel about everyone from my kind of generation that graduated from that era of hip hop. So it was like, damn. I knew how much this was, number one, going to affect the face of hip hop because he's been a pillar for the last 30 years. There was no hip hop without certain people being mentioned. And, I'm proud to say that I'm one of those people, but he's definitely one of those people. And even though always somebody's always been a competitive nature between him and I've always admired the fact that he'll do anything. Like when he ran the marathon, I was like, I wouldn't have did that. Like,
Yeah, so you can see the parallel between the career of Dame Dash and the career of P. Diddy. And two of them kind of started out the same. Diddy was with Biggie. Um, Biggie died young. Diddy's a billionaire now. And Dame Dash started out with Jay Z. Dame Dash, they call him broke, but he's not. He owns a lot of stuff, but just in a different way, I think. And Jay Z is a billionaire. So there's a lot of similarities between the two of them. I won't even lie. Ads in the middle of my stream, Jono. I forgot to do a portion of editing.
that deal, like, I'll have a great idea, but he could always get the deal to connect him to pop culture where he could get that volume and be so embraced, you know? But I'd be like, but I'm gonna still do it my way. And I don't care, like, we've had conversations like, yo, bro,
And it gonna look like him hating still, But I feel like when you really know what's going on behind the scenes of music, a lot of reality is there, a lot of truth.
and I started to think, because like every day something new comes out. So I'm wondering in his brain, like, in this very moment, would he give up everything, all the money, all the history he's made with music, all of it, just to be regular and be free? Would he erase everything? Like, was it worth it? The 30 years of role,
I feel like Diddy would have said, fuck it. I love to party.
30 years to just do whatever he wanted, and be well respected and celebrated, and do all these impactful things that have affected hip hop and the trajectory of hip hop. And now I'm seeing that he had a lot more power than I knew, so he was affecting everything. And would he be like, yo, I'll give it all up just so I could just be with my kids every day? And when I saw him at the park with his kids, I was like, yo, that's what I do every day. You know,
Here the thing about Diddy now is like I feel like it easy like we saw what happened with Cosby, we saw what happened with R. Kelly. And some of the charges seem like they were embellished. You see me? It seemed like they added on a lot, and you're wondering why you have to add on if there's enough there. You see me? But the P Diddy thing a little bit different now, cause you just have so many different allegations. You see me? Like him shoulda get fucked for the shine thing alone. You see me? And that's like one of the least thing that we're really getting called up. You see me? But everything he did and the allegations coming from east, west, north, and south, It's just hard to imagine, so that's all a conspiracy.
So I just, I know the kind of guy that he is, and he's used to being a free-spirited individual. And then I start to reflect, like, yo, how did you avoid all that? How did you just know to stay away? You know? And it's just because, like, regardless of whether what he was doing was illegal or not, that will be judged in a court of law. But what we do know was he was doing some loose shit. Like, there were actual freak-off parties, and there were environments and things that were going on that I personally would never, ever, ever do.
The next thing about Diddy is him self snitch. You see me? He did professional self snitching over the years. Professional, high quality.
With certain people. And then I'm thinking, yo, this shit was really going on? Like, because it seems like there's like the general party, and then there's the VIP party where all the elite, so the elite people have to be knowing about what's going on, and they're still there, whether they're participating or not. That's a secret. And that kind of secret, because, I heard things, but not that crazy. Not the things that have been admitted to doing, like, not Paul's baby oil crazy. Like, I didn't know, like, it's just something that was unfathomable to me. The fact that didn't get out, that means that's a very secret club. Whoever's holding that secret, they hold it tight to the vest. And I'm like, what other secrets? Like, what deals were made in those free calls? Because a lot of the deals.
Yeah, Burner Boy, your whole Grammy thing, very suspect. Them pictures there, them don't look like air at all, Jano.
Make, $billion deals over a bottle of vodka. And it was all based on, that hanging out and that trust, and you would throw your man an alley-oop because y'all hung out. If you get into that secret club and you're able to hold a secret so tight to the vest, a lot of business deals are getting made there. So now I'm like, damn, I might understand why certain people had certain opportunities, certain deals, and if they weren't participating, they were there and they didn't leave and they repetitively came back. So I don't think people knew, or maybe they were, or they did know, but I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't think they thought it was illegal, but it was loose. And as far as moral compass, morally, that would not be the environment that I would want my kids around. I would want to be around. I wouldn't want to do no business in that environment. Could you imagine me going to one of those parties and walking in that room with I'd be like, y'all know, where's the pause button? I'd be like, pause. I'd be like, you're in here, y'all bugging. Well, I didn't know. That type shit. They know that I'm not tolerant, or, I don't look the other way. I'd be getting out the way. But I might not be so silent. I might not be.
Yeah, more time we have to kind of just looking at people and kind of believe them still. This dude be kind of consistent. And yeah, I can imagine a lot of people, you hear him say pause a million times, them are gonna just left him off the invitation list. It makes sense.
Might not meant to be getting shot, but you're going to catch a couple of a spray of those bullets. That's what karma's like. So if you are around somebody that may be doing something immoral, and you might look the other way or might help facilitate it, karmically, you may be considered accountable.
Serious sitting them at talk about. You see me? So keep encouraging the artists them. You see me? Running down certain people where you don't know where them come from. Mysterious background kind of vibes and all kind of sitting. You see me? It's like, yeah, you don't know what kind of energy you're attracting to yourself. Oh, the volume.
Being in those, I guess, positions of these things that are happening behind closed doors that you're not willing to be a part of. How has that affected you?
It's made me depend on my family.
Well, you can tell them that wrote these questions still. I rate him though.
Like education, how to really help our culture, raising a child, eating healthy. Like, again, having all the money in the world and not having your freedom, you're broke. Or not having your health, you're broke. And, I was able, and this was always my motto, was to always invest in my woman. The woman that I love is to make her independent, or the ability to be independent of me. That's to me, the best security a woman can have is to know that she's there because she wants to be. And
Yeah, some of that stuff I think you can just tell your wife that stuff, bro. But it's all good.
it's on Raquel. us making a baby, her writing a book, a curriculum. I was able to study with principals. I'm not even gonna say teach because they taught.
I rate what I'm doing still. Homeschooling, publish books, all kind of thing. Some man a sell 5,000 copy on them album, and them could have make 5 children's book in at the time. I respect that.
Around my family. That's number one. Number two, I would be working on different agendas. The agenda of getting paid a lot of money to present images of us, and on all verticals, from music to art to everything, of us hurting each other, our dysfunction, us being dependent on them. And that's what was so disturbing about this situation to me, is because people obviously knew this was going on, because it was going on. And the amount of people that have said, I've never seen it, it's like they must have been really programmed to be quiet about it. And that means, I'm telling you, that circle there, that's the circle that, a person like myself with the ideals and the moral fabric that I have, you would be real surprised if I would take any money to do those things. Again, how could the person that invented pause be at one of those parties? I'd be walking around with the button being like,
Yo, man, go make one of them button there, but not with pause on it.
it's not even conceivable that I would tolerate any of that. And people know that about me. So for me, it's made me really depend on the people I love, focus on the things that matter, and it's made it to where I could build a future for my family later. So that's why American New was so important, because I needed a platform.
Yeah, I rate what you doing, damn dash. I go up on the man app is like as much movies and things as Netflix. It's crazy.
A bitch ass nigga that he is, that he'll have a conversation.
I joke, not that much, but it's whole heap of thing the man have up there, yo. It's crazy. And what I'm talking about, I think the thing that I'm doing, if the whole mainstream wasn't working together for some weird reason, I think the thing that I'm talking about, Umar Johnson should have been talking about him. It's him and Charlemagne should have been talking about him. It's nothing of a really meds. It's hard to believe Sam was doing the whole of that, and nobody not talk about it.
And, he's cut from a completely different cloth than me. Like, Puff himself cracked him in the head with a bottle. He sued Puff. And then a couple of years later, they taking pictures like nothing happened.
I'm talking about Steve
I
stuff.
guess that's like taking the bigger. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm not going to be all right with somebody cracking me in the head with a bottle. That Keith Murray story where, I got hit in the head with a bottle, that shit happened. Biggs got into a beef with Keith Murray. One day, Biggs calls me. He had just got his legend. And he's like, yo, you know this kid Keith Murray? And I'm like, yeah, he's got that beautiful thing in the world. He's new. He's on Jive. I think Eric, I forgot his last name, worked at Jive, so I knew about him through him. And he was like, man, I think, we had like a little car accident. He got cute. He got slick. Next time I see him, punching him in his face. And I'm like, huh? I said, let me make a call. So I tried to make the call, get it squashed. Bottom line, that day, we go to Maria Davis's club, and he's in there. Me, him, and Jay. Clark Kent's in there. A lot of dudes that be with Jay from Brooklyn. And, Biggs got to him and pulled him by his collar and started decking him. So, I start fighting. I'm fighting, and all of a sudden, I get hit in the head with a bottle. And I'm like, oh, shit, I thought I got shot. But when I realized I didn't, I was hot. So they all ran. And I don't know, somebody threw this shit. It wasn't like I got hit in the head. But I ran outside, they ran. They was throwing bottles from up the street. And what really made me mad was like Clark and Trevor, and I forgot who else. They were like looking through the window, and they were throwing the bottles, and a bottle hit the door, and it cut them. So now they cut, and I'm tight because nobody had help. It was just me, Biggs, and Jay fighting, and all these dudes were there. But I was really tight about that shit. And yeah, we went, and again, I was in a different frame of mind back then. But, I went back to Brooklyn and was like, yo, y'all niggas supposed to be tough. Y'all left me, blah, blah, blah. And like a week later, we heard he was going to perform somewhere. And, I got to give it to homie. He pulled up with some real wild Brooklyn niggas, about 10 cars full. And people I knew, like, you be in Brooklyn? And they were wild. And I'm glad we didn't catch up to him, And, I went up in the office and was like, yo, you got to give me some money, like that. Like I need 10 grand or something. I don't even remember how we resolved it. But at the end of the day, I'm still a little like, yo, if a nigga that hit me with the bottle, I don't know if we'd be taking pictures. I definitely wouldn't sue that person. That wasn't what my mind frame was on.
Yeah,
and also, the way I met him again is he had lipstick on. They put a wig on him. He was tolerant of it. He was all right with it. He still was working with these people after they humiliated him. So my point is, he doesn't mind being humiliated. He doesn't mind people abusing him, and he'll still be at a table smiling just for the picture. And in that table, the same people that are abusing him, I'm sure, are sending him saying, yo, you got to go say this, that, and the third. My point is, he's making it obvious that there's an agenda to downplay or minimize or compromise or have a different perception for anything that I'm doing. But he's just so, oh, the grail is to be next to Jay. That's your grail, to be next to Jay. That's not my Jay. That wasn't what, to be next to another man will never dictate how great I am. You know? So if there's an agenda for you to talk about me like there was the last 20 years, you're making it obvious. It lets me know you're scared. You pussy. And not about physical war or violence. We already know how that went. I smacked the shit out of you. I'm talking about, again, company for company. Who's doing the most for the culture? So, Steve, you supposed to be this dude? I dare you to drop a television network. And I dare you to drop an album. Let's go, because 50 didn't want that smoke. Being that you want to keep talking about, you got all that money, you raised all that money, you let all these people beat your ass for that money. However you got it, you got it. You should be able to drop a network right now. You should be able to drop a record right now. You should be able to drop a clothing line right now, a book. You should be able to walk into school and teach them how to be better. Where you at? Instead of talking about, oh, he dropped the holy ground. He's not up under Jay. Who was up under? I'm not doing that. That's not the game I play. I got children that look up to me. They could never be like, yo, that dude smacked you, and you still, why did you do that? Why did somebody hit you in the head with a bottle? Why do people keep punking you all the time? And why are you a black man that hates black people? What's wrong with you, man?
All right, I'm going in on Steve Stout still. Let me see. Just get down in some behind the scenes.
Don't sleep this way. It will definitely hurt your spine. Instead, you can install the Shut Eye app to help you sleep.
Just put your phone next to you, and it will record everything you do.
But it is what it is.
What do you think is the biggest misconception people still have about you?
That you're broke.
It could be that I care what people think, but I think people probably know I don't, just based on the fact that I've stood on the same morals regardless if it was popular opinion or not. And
you know, if I act like you don't care, bro, you care. You clearly care, but you just don't make it affect you, which is respectable.
what their opinions are, people that don't like themselves, people that are mad at you because, they're not.
I don't think you would have started a podcast like this if you didn't care about people's opinions. You see me? Because they do affect you. They affect your money.
Like I didn't choose to walk away from that life. Like they may think I got kicked out. That's not what happened. I saw that things were immoral. I didn't like it. Things got weird. And I just wanted to be an elevated version of normal. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to have a family.
And I don't know if you want to do that narrative, bro. 'Cause we still have those videos of you and everybody in the boardroom knowing, say, Jay-Z make a move and you never make the move. And we know the whole of that. I don't know if you have to downplay it, you see me?
Anything to be perceived as having money, even though they don't. All the cutthroat and still hanging out. All of these things that could be questionable years later. I've been there. It's only fun when you first get there because it's a new experience. But once it happens like twice, 3 times, you're like, this shit is whack. And I don't know how people are still stuck in that same kind of a rhythm. But I left. So if there's a misconception, it could potentially be that people might not think I'm happy and I'm at my most happiest. I think there's a misconception on the magnitude of having your own television network and how hard and how expensive it is to do that. I don't think people know that I run into schools and I work with the OSG and all these principals and that I give curriculum. I don't think people know that. I don't think they want people to know that. Because the Breakfast Club and TMZ and all of those shade room, all of them, I would suspect are following me, right? I know that, what's his name from the Breakfast Club is following.
Well, because somebody following you don't mean everything still. But and then TMZ, for them program not showing anything positive about black people.
They never talk about that. And neither does Earn Your Leisure. And neither does the Shade Room. And neither does TMZ. They have never once said Damon Dash launched a television network, American News. Actually, Charlemagne has said it, to be fair. But he doesn't talk about the...
and earn your leisure on pages like that. Man, I know. I don't really believe them. You see me? People really understand stock market. I don't really know. I don't know if them have time to sit down on YouTube more time.
I'm not active, but how could you not see that I'm active? That I'm unhappy, but you see me every day with my child, with my girl, us laughing and all those things. That by some way, shape, or form, some dumbass named Steve Stout might be like, he dropped the ball. How could I drop the ball? Like you do, like remember that line, Jay?
Well, you know, we'll get you. We'll get you, bro. We'll get you.
The $100 million business. Like people just went past Rachel Roy. No one even talks about that one. That was immediate. That's what, at the height of them saying I had no money, I had a $100 million company. That had nothing to do with music. So I think that's the misconception. That I haven't made a whole lot of other people in different verticals. Like, I don't think people know that I do rock and roll. I think a misconception would be that I only do hip hop. But no one knows that I put the Black Keys on. Made 2
Yeah, the Black Keys thing kind of mad still because I see so they make it coming like they make a whole heap of money. And I remember when him did mention them, you know, the early part, you see me? That's like, how him doing rock and roll? What him doing?
It might be a misconception that I didn't have 4 or 5 art galleries in the last 10 years all over the world. A misconception might be that, oh, he doesn't even have an office, he's broke. But I've had studios all over the country for the last 10 years. Art galleries in Tribeca and all that. Yeah, that's what my broke looks like. Because I won't bend over, pause, and kneel or kiss a ring. Because I decided to be independent, you would think the people that I'm fighting for would celebrate me. And they do. But the people that celebrate me and there's people that I love that fight for me in the barbershop and all that, because you guys see clear. And I know y'all like, how could people be so foggy? Even when the people that people were worshiping, kissing their ass like a Harvey Weinstein, because I saw everyone in that industry know everything that he was doing, but still tolerate that dude. And I was the only one that didn't. And they was like, oh, because he's black. Nah. It's because I'm just a form of thorough cut from a different cloth that most don't understand. Very rare. You know? And I know y'all wonder, like, how could y'all consistently just go with the dudes that do the worst things just because they're celebrated by people? But then when they get, jammed up, you don't go, damn, you don't learn from it. You still do the same shit. You still worship the same shit. A year ago at this time, it was Kanye, another black billionaire. And again, that's why I say, like, it feels like if they got something on you, if there's some instability, they're going to empower you because they can pull the plug on you at any time. But if you thorough and you stand on your dean and you get there honest and you get there without having to be scared of anything you've done, then they can't control what you do. They can't put you out of business. And I don't know why Steve Stout has an agenda to worry about the perception of me and my business and my legacy. But if you don't got a kid, go have one. Go work on that legacy. Or if you do, then go work on your child. Go do that. Teach these kids how to be a father. So what I'm trying to do is, like, for all rock stars and all people that rap and independent, cool adults, you want your children to be looking at cool stuff too. So I'm making content for rock stars' children so that they can be taught the way we want them taught, so they don't have to be taking the wrong pill and be controlled and have to conform and not know what real freedom is. Look at the actual things that we're doing, The fact that we could broadcast, like we broadcasted last week, and we're at 80,000 downloads, by the way. And it's not chopped liver. So what does it look like for my children, for my girl, in 10 years if this keeps building? It's something that they'll be able to monetize, control for the rest of their lives and pass to their kids.
Yeah, that past channel thing.
And that's what I'm celebrating this week.
Kind of deep. Any YouTube video where make me feel like research something else, I might appreciate it. So give thanks to that, damn Dash.
Send all condolences, or not even condolences, all support. Because at the end of the day, like I said, pause, you can't take it for Paul. He's a fighter. He's going to fight. Like, I've seen him fight. Like, he did that marathon, his shit was busting off his toe. I remember what he was telling me. I was like, damn. So I'm curious to see how it goes.
Make it clear that even though there was a lot of puff questions, how that made you feel seeing this all come out and seeing somebody from hip hop go through, again, some of this crazy stuff.
Like, no matter what, anyone from the culture of hip hop becomes a representative of hip hop. And he was one of the most known people in hip hop to pop culture, meaning the people that don't understand hip hop. So if that's all they're going to see, and that's what the press is going to push, they're going to look at this as an opportunity to make this a hip hop thing. And yeah, it did hit home. And it feels like, again, I told you, everybody seemed hurt in hip hop. We are shocked, hurt. Even people that are playing about it, it's still like the world is going to be different moving forward without Puff. Pause. Regardless, he did have, and he does have an effect.
And just on a whole, the timing and everything, from Cat Williams to Kendrick versus Drake, and everything was going on in the industry. Them saying is like a cycle what happened in the past, or it happens every 20 years, I guess, in the industry. But I kind of feel like this one might be serious. You see me? Because some of the guys there now were there years ago, decades ago. You see me? But I noticed a lot of them step down where they.
Me to stay in my bubble, because I don't know who's what. Everyone's kind of. I'm shocked at what I'm seeing, whether it's legal or not. The stuff that is coming out is stuff that I know I would never want to be around. So that's how I feel about that.
What are you fighting for so much with the network? Like, how important is it for people to go and just hit download to see the network?
Well, for American, I made it easy. I made it free. It takes 1 second. And it's a platform for me where I can be creative, have my opinion, monetize it without a third party, and make sure that the rest of the world is able to see my creativity if they want to. It's their choice. And this is the same platform that I'm providing for other people that respect the art. Like that's why I'm bugging, because I'm like, they don't see that. If we get together, if we all just come together and put our content, now we have our own YouTube. We have our own Tubi.
Real talk, real talk, real talk.
Person, I'm the warden. No weirdo shit. No dark shit, no hating, no petty. You know what you get. I might yell, I might snap, and, I'm going to spend all my money. You already know that's what I'm going to do on my creative ideas or any money that I have. These are my faults. I'm sorry that I have PTSD, that people that are, to me, morally imbalanced, they trigger me. And that's why there's a misconception that I'm difficult. I'm difficult when you want me to come to a party that is not right for me. That's when I'm difficult. I'm difficult when you're trying to trick people that don't deserve to be tricked. I'm difficult when you're trying to have me help you hurt other people. I'm not helping that. I'm difficult when people want to rob me. I'm definitely difficult when it comes to that. I'm difficult when people try to keep me from my children.
Yo, I need ad blocker. But alright, ads. Yeah, go on, get a blind. Yeah, get a blind, yeah, get a blind.
Sometimes get offended is like I could talk one way, and it's nice. It's funny. But when I want people to understand what I'm saying, I talk in a tone that I know that they're going to listen to and they know I'm serious. And sometimes they take that as offense. They get real defensive about it. And it's like, it doesn't mean you did something wrong. It means I don't want you to do something wrong. Because if I say something a certain way, people just tend algorithmically, if that's even a word, just not to listen. The average person has to be told something 8 times for them to really register it. But if you yell sometimes, or you say things in a different tone, or you just kind of shake the room up, it makes people move quicker. Certain things is like, at some points I'll say it nice. But in this moment, I'm like, yo, as hip hop goes, me, everybody, this was a blow. It really was, pause. I don't care what anybody say, but we got to pause, pull your skirt up, get back to work and fight for what hip hop really represents. And it can't be in control of people that just want to exploit it. When I see a Julie Greenwald, I'm wondering how she got her job in the first place. Now she doesn't have it. Kev Louse. Like, to me, I always say the Sherry should have been where Julie Greenwald was. But the nepotism, Todd Moskowitz, these were Leor Cohen's like lawyers for Def Jam. How do they control music? Because they can structure a deal, or they know how to structure a deal where an artist gets robbed and they're all right with doing it. You know what I mean? The nepotism in the music business is insane. People are able to actually pass their jobs down to their children. Not the black ones, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's generational CEOism going on here for the same companies. And that's wild.
And the reason why that fucked up with music is because the way music affect people is like, if you have a lame cousin working at and they're making the canned peas, right? That person just not going to pass the quality checks, and the peas will never leave the factory, and that person will have to be fired or move to our next job. You see me? But in a music, you're just letting things out there. You see me?
One way in another century, it's not going to work for you in the next century. The way we made money 10 years ago it's not the way you're going to make money 10 years later. Things evolve. And like for me, I'm not so sophisticated with a computer. I just didn't grow up with it. But these young kids are growing up with these new innovations with clear minds. It's the first thing they're learning. And the way AI is going, it's so rapid how quickly it's advancing. And if you don't know how to use AI and other people are your competition, they're going to get there quicker than you. And they're going to get there with less money, and they're going to have more margin, and they're going to make more money, and then you're going to wonder why these younger kids got more money than you. You got to watch the young kids and see exactly what they're using. And you can't think because it says social that it's not business. Because, I personally dropped the ball when it was Musically. I gave it to Tallulah. She might have been like 8. And I like the fact that it edited and all that. But I thought it was for kids. And then when it turned into TikTok, I was like, I'm a grown ass man. But now I realize that the number way people, it's like the new search engine. It's where people buy things. It's distribution. It's like a trick. They call it social media because they're looking at social algorithms, your behavior patterns. But it's really a business platform and a way to sell things without leaving your house and without having to pay a lot of people and having a direct connection with your consumer. And it's a great way to get data. So for me, I forgot what lesson I did last week. But the lesson this week is, number one, they push the auction back indefinitely because so many people want money from this auction that they got to sort all that out and they have to figure out if it's even worth it. This week's lesson is child support. Now, my situation with child support, people are like, you don't pay your child support. I've been on child support since 2007, and it's been about $250,000 a year. And what happens is when I'm late, they want it, period. And what I was explaining is that, you have to go and get a downward modification if your finances change, and who wants to do that? What I tried to do was keep it where automatically they would get the money. So what I did was with the Rachel Roy brand, that company, $100 million company, I made Rachel Roy, my ex-wife, the manager of the company. And what was instructed, court ordered, was that when the money came into the bank, she would pay my son Lucky's child support, and she would pay her own. And then there was like a judgment, and then she would pay out the rest. Now, I don't know if this is fair, but Rachel and Cindy have the same lawyer. And that lawyer, allegedly, I think, instructed Rachel not to pay her own child support and not to pay Lucky's. And of course, I don't know this. So Rachel moved to LA. I moved to LA. All of a sudden, all this child support has accrued. I didn't know. And from that, I guess that they delivered to my old address or whatever. I caught warrants. And I couldn't sue Rachel for doing that because when the child support came in, I lost my standing with the company. Someone took control of it, so I couldn't even sue. And they actually had to sell my interest in that company so that it would satisfy certain judgments.
Wow.
So once it was sold, I couldn't sue. So the moral of that story is, don't put your ex-wife in charge of paying herself for child support. You have to do that yourself. Don't assume it's getting paid. And, again, when they come and say, I owe $120,000, that was like literally 6 months of child support or whatever it was. And I couldn't go get a downward modification because we lived in LA, but the order was written in New York. But we transferred everything to LA. So when I'm trying to get in front of a judge, her lawyer is saying, no, you got to do that in New York. That took about a year. So in the time that I was trying to move or get in front of a judge, more child support accrued. And I guess now that there's money to get from the sale, I want them to get it. And what they're also discussing now is how much more child support. So Rachel, the lawyer is for both of them, but the dude, for Rachel's part, he wants $700,000. Tallulah is 16 and a half. So for the next 2 years, that's what he wants. And if he can get it, I hope he does. And that's, the levels of my child support. And for Lucky, he's 21 years old. He's 20 years old. And they want $250,000 or something, for future child support. So they got to sort all that out. And, that's what happens. So if y'all consider that, broke or whatever, I just want you to understand that I haven't been negligent about the child support. Sometimes it just gets late because it's a lot. And, I got judgments, I got taxes, So that's the lesson in life. Make sure you pay your own child support. Don't leave it to your ex-wife. Don't make her the head of the company. You could make it the head of the company, but not in control of the manager of the company. Where, because when you make someone the manager of the company, even though you own the company, you still can't even get in the bank. You can't do nothing. You made the manager, and I did it on purpose. But you know, same thing with the taxes. You pay somebody to pay your taxes, they don't pay your taxes, you can't do nothing to them, even though you paid for it. So I hope you'll learn from that. If you get to this position where you have those kind of problems and that volume of money, these are the things you should do with it. You know.
Yeah. That was nice. I'm not gonna lie. Major respect. And we're there in the back of field, itinerary, and this is Dub School. Just going through some information on the internet and taking time to disperse it for the generations. Remember to like and subscribe. Big up.